Yeah, so as you can see, I'm standing up today, a little bit different, trying to be more active. But anyway, the opening that I'm going to teach you guys today is actually called the England Gambit. I'm going to show you guys the goods first, and after that, it's whatever, right? So keep this in mind, right? This is a response to d4. So your opponent... More specifically, it's a response to the London system, which can sometimes be very hard to counter. Well, it's actually really simple. You just don't let them play the London system. You're going to go e5. This forces them into a decision. They either continue playing the London system and give up a bishop, or they sacrifice their pawn, a key piece in the London system, or they take your pawn. Now keep in mind, all right, this is a gambit, so I'm going to need you guys not to pay attention to the evaluation, okay? What you're going to do after that is you're going to play knight to c6, England Gambit, all that stuff, and then knight to f3, queen to d7, and after bishop to c4, you're going to play queen to b4. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest. I have featured this opening before on my channel in the form of shorts, a YouTube short, but I feel like I didn't do it justice. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like I didn't do enough, like I didn't showcase enough, right? So the best move in this situation for white is to move the bishop back. When that happens, you're going to take this pawn. You've regained your pawn. Congratulations, you're no longer in any danger. Now, a very common move for white in this position is bishop to c3. And see, if you look at the evaluation now, you'll notice that it's completely in our favor. That's because our gambit is about to pay off. That's because we can play bishop to b4, pinning a bishop to a king. It looks weird, I know. Now, after this, your opponent's going to play, what is that, queen to d2. Trust me on this, it's going to pay out. Take the bishop. Queen is pinned to the king, and your opponent's rook is under pressure. Now here, a common mistake is for white to take the bishop. However, that loses on the spot because it allows a nice queen to c1 checkmate. Congratulations. Queen to c1 checkmate in 8 moves, mind you. Congratulations. Now, at this point, a lot of y'all probably talking about that's really unrealistic. That's a very niche scenario. However, it's not. And I'm about to show you why. Trust me, I got receipts. I would never give you something that doesn't work. d4. e5 on the board. Takes, knight out, queen e7. Bishop c4. Queen b4. Bishop back, part of the line. Take the pawn. But then my opponent went here. Pin the bishop. Queen to d2. Take the bishop. And I'm thinking, come on. Give it to me. Just bring it home. Please. I need it. Boom. There it is. Queen to c3. The rest is history. Checkmate in 1.
With the move queen to c1.
d4, e5. Pawn takes, knight out, queen e7, bishop c4, queen to b4, bishop back, takes, boom, all that. That's the trap, okay? So now let's wind up, let's go back to about here. And let's just, so the first common thing that I see is this move right here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if your opponent plays this move right here, you can just go ahead and stop with the whole queen to e7, type of tactics type of thing, because it's just not going to work. And I'll show you why, right? They play this knight move, right? Obviously. Boom. Give this check. What do? They can just push this pawn because their bishop is still guarding. But yeah, they can just kick out your queen just like that. Simple pawn to c3, and your plan is done. So if they play pawn to c4 instead of bishop to c4, just stop playing the England Gambit. You're going to have to improvise. Let's go to the next piece of variability, right? So you can go here. Now here your opponent can actually just make a random move such as developing their knight or something else. It really doesn't matter because they have a pawn and you winning back the pawn is really no disadvantage to them. Develop their knight, right? A good move, a solid move, and you just win your pawn back in this case, and then you go on to play the game as normal. Yep, that's pretty much what that looks like. Then you just develop, play the game, and win. Now let's look at another piece of variation here, right? You go here, right? Still queen b4, right? Given that check.
Now, if your opponent goes knight to d2, then you're going to take the bishop. If your opponent goes knight to c3, you're going to play something else.
If your opponent goes here,
if you take the bishop in this position, just be aware that you will lose a rook. However, the evaluation still says it's okay.
So let's go back, right? Let's take a look at another piece of variation, right? You're going to go here. And you take this pawn. And your opponent goes here.
Now I'm going to have to be very honest with you, right? Look at the evaluation. It's 1.3 in your opponent's favor, but we're hinging on the fact that your opponent doesn't know the line. And got one more trick up our sleeve. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that I am making this video because it helped me get through a certain ELO range. If you're not in that ELO range, or if these things if you don't really see this England Gambit that much, then it might not apply to you, and that's okay. But it's always good to add one more opening to your repertoire. Now, up until this point, both white and black have been playing according to the standard line of the England Gambit. However, there's one more trick and trap that we have in this position. Now, in order to initiate this trap, you must play knight to b4. Now, your opponent here has numerous chances to blunder. In fact, there's only one move that stops them from blundering. Now, the losing move for white, and conversely, the winning move for black, is rook to b1. And do you know why? It's because this move wins you a free pawn and a queen.
The only way for white to escape this check is giving you their queen. I mean, come on. You couldn't ask for more.
This is the end of the tutorial for black, and I will now go on to discuss how to play the England Gambit as white.
Queen's pawn, d4, and e5 takes knight out, queen out, bishop. Now, your opponent's going to play queen to b4. We've established this. You're going to play bishop back to d2 to block the check. Your opponent is going to take here. You're going to play knight to c3. Your opponent, right, bringing in their knight for their final trick. And what you're going to do is simply slide your rook all the way over here to defend against this c2 square. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see by the evaluation, that is not the best move. However, that is a solid move, and it completely destroys any chance that, you know, black has against you. Best move is actually knight to d4. I see defending the pawn this way. That way you don't blunder this pawn. I'm assuming that's what it was, right? You block with the rook. Yeah, you block with the rook, and then you blunder this pawn.
It ain't no outro. I respect y'all's time. Y'all got stuff to do. Subscribe if you feel like it. I'll see you guys next time.